Hey guys, how you doing? It's Tom. They say that small minds talk about people, average minds talk about events, and great minds talk about ideas, and usually big ideas. And since I've started this channel, I've been so blessed because I've attracted a lot of really great minds, people who are willing to think outside the box, people who are willing to do things differently. And I think it's self-evident just in the fact that you follow me. I mean, I'm all over the place politically. I'm very rarely could find someone who agrees with me on different topics because I do pride myself in being such a free thinker. So, because I've attracted so many great minds, I want to talk about big ideas, not just talk about what's happening in society. Yes, that's important, but talk about a different society, a society that we can build together. And the only way that society can ever be built is if we introduce new ideas and we talk about them, strengths, weaknesses, if they could work in theory. And if enough people think these ideas could work, maybe one day they could be implemented. So, one of the things I've been wanting to do for a while is something I'm going to start right now, a series I'm going to call In a World Without Government. So, let's just get into it because I had a few ideas, and the topic today is going to be food. In a world without government, who would make sure the food we are eating is safe? So right now, the way things work, the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, they are the regulators. I mean, I'm sure there's more regulators because who knows what the government does. But for simplifying things, they're the regulators that oversee businesses, restaurants, and make sure that the food we are eating is safe. So how could society possibly operate without that government function? How could society operate without the government ensuring that the food we eat is safe? Upton Sinclair, I believe it was Upton Sinclair, he, in his book The Jungle, exposed that restaurants were putting rats in meat grinders and telling people that they were eating cows when they were eating rats. So obviously, ensuring that food is safe has been a very important government function. So first, let's talk about what the government currently does. Does the government actually do the function its objective is to complete? Well, we found out so many things through news reports over the years, right? I mean, Subway, one of the biggest restaurants in America, chains in America, has been caught putting rubber into their food, and people eat rubber, but the FDA gives them the stamp of approval. McDonald's has been caught putting all types of negative things, unhealthy things into their food, but they get the FDA stamp of approval. Glyphosate, the primary ingredient in Roundup, which has been found to, or at least has been linked to causing cancer, gets the FDA stamp of approval. People who try to eat healthy, people who eat organic, a lot of them believe they're eating organic, but they're actually not. So why does this happen? The big corporations like McDonald's or whatever corporation it might be, they spend a tremendous amount of money on lobbyists. And the lobbyists, they also spend a lot of money on politicians. So the politicians, the lobbyists, they get regulatory control. And then the regulators bend the regulations to fit the desires of the corporations. So it becomes the corporations using government to regulate society rather than government doing what it's supposed to do and regulate the corporations. So everything is very backwards. They also, the same way they do this, the corporations get governors and regulators to put in regulations that create barriers to entry so that new businesses can't create competition. So it really is a corporate government. Everything is intertwined, and everything we're presented in the media is very backwards. So I would argue that the FDA doesn't do its job. In fact, it's a double negative because now people are indoctrinated to trust the government, to trust these regulatory agencies. So people believe what they're being told is true. People believe that they are eating healthy. And that's why we see such spikes in diabetes and heart disease and cancer. I mean, how many people think it's okay to eat McDonald's all the time? It's not okay. It's very unhealthy. And yet this is what people do. And people outsource their thinking to these authorities. And even people who try to eat healthy, they think they're eating organic, but the regulations have been bent so much in the directions of what the corporations want that you're able to get the organic stamp of approval in the United States, and you have, when you sell food that's not even organic. But what would happen? I mean, if we took away the FDA, if we took away these regulatory agencies, would it go back to the age of Upton Sinclair? Right? Would they be able to put rats in food? I mean, that's disgusting. Exactly. Because if the regulatory agencies were removed and the government would get out of the way, that would create a huge marketplace, right? There's a tremendous business opportunity, and this is the beauty. See, what I described before is the downside of capitalism. Because when you mix capitalism with government regulators, they are able to implement very, very evil policies. But if you remove the government regulators, now we see the beautiful side of capitalism, because there becomes an opportunity. So theoretically, what type of systems could be put into place under that scenario? Well, and again, the beauty here is that when it's decentralized, my ideas are it's just touching the surface. I mean, there's 355 million people in America, all of who would see a great opportunity, and I'm sure some of them could think of better ideas than the one I'm going to present. But say a science lab sees an opportunity. So they say, okay, we're going to work on a Netflix model. You pay us $9.99 a month, or whatever it is. Maybe you pay us $500 for the year. Whatever the market dictates that people are willing to pay. I myself would be willing to pay because I find it's very important to ensure that you're eating healthy food. So they go to this Netflix model, and all these people start giving them $10 a month, $500 a year, whatever it is. And of course, there's competition. And whoever has the best business model is going to win. And they test food from this business, that business, and you could even submit to them, hey, can you ensure that the food at this restaurant is safe? And of course, when they go to the restaurants and say, can I test your food, whatever it might be, in fact, all they'd have to do is buy it if they really wanted to. But the restaurants would be more than happy because they're going to want the stamp of approval from these food regulators, because who are you going to eat food from? A business that is completely unregulated, no one has checked it, or a business that has been checked by a group of scientists who are specifically devoted and have financial incentive to make sure that the food that is being sold is what the restaurant says it is. So this would create a market. And of course, yes, there would be opportunities for corruption. But the insinuation is that there's not opportunities for corruption now, right? We know the FDA is corrupt. It's corrupt to its core. But the business model and the beauty, government's never held responsible, right? I mean, you delete 50,000 text messages, you delete 33,000 emails, nothing happens. Government is never held responsible. Businesses are, especially if the government's not artificially protecting them, like big bank bailouts. So say it gets discovered that X corporation is paying off our private-owned food regulators. Well, now there's going to be public outrage, and this is going to open the market for new regulators from a different private corporation or science lab who will maybe work on their own Netflix model, maybe a different type of model where people pay them to check and make sure the food is safe. I would argue this is because the corporations are held responsible, they're not artificially protected by government, this would actually be a much safer system, a much better way of ensuring that the food that we're eating is actually safe. And of course, without this government function, there's less taxation needed. So people would have more money in their pockets, they're getting a better service for less money, and society would be a better place in a world without government. So this is the argument I wanted to present today. I do want to see your comments. I want to start having conversations with big ideas, If there's any topics you'd like me to cover, please let me know. About a week ago, I've been a little absent on responding to your comments. I apologize about that. But about a week ago, I found a new social media platform called Steemit. As you know, if you follow me, I've been talking a lot about blockchain and how blockchain has the potential to change the world because it offers a decentralized system. This Steemit, it's kind of like a blog, kind of like a Facebook alternative. But it runs on blockchain technology, and it actually offers cryptocurrency. That's Bitcoin, Ethereum, that type of thing. Not worth nearly as much as them right now. Maybe it will tank and be worth nothing. Maybe it will be worth a lot. But what this platform offers is, like I said, it's a blog format. So I would write, I'm going to post this video on it. I'm going to write up a little blog about it. And people could comment underneath my blog. And the beautiful thing is, if they hit like on the blog, I receive, everyone has different, depending on how many likes you get, different power behind their likes. But I basically get paid a penny in cryptocurrency by Steemit, the platform, just for liking my blog. Now here's the real beauty of it. If you comment underneath my blog and someone likes your comment, you get paid a penny worth of cryptocurrency. And based on how much people are on social media, the money starts to add up. I mean, I've been doing this for a week. I have no following, and I've probably already made, just from posting, making comments, $50 from doing what I would ordinarily do on Facebook. And because I actually put money into it, but you don't have to put any of your own money into it. That's what I like about the platform. I see stuff like that, and I worry, is it a type of Ponzi scheme? I don't think so, because you don't have to actually put your own money into it. I did put my own money because what likes are on the platform, it actually works as upvotes. So by me storing money in their platform, I guess it helps their platform grow. When I like a comment, it upvotes it, so people from the algorithms are more likely to see my post, people who don't already follow me. So obviously I'm trying to find new followers. But anyway, I have more power behind my votes. So when I upvote, like if you comment on my post, you get 6 or 7 cents from me. And do you know how much that excites me? Especially the people that already support me financially, that I could like your comments and I could give you money. And then you could do numerous things with that. You could pull that money out and put it in your bank account. And again, you never had to put money in. This technology is changing the world. It really is amazing. You could take the money out, put it in your bank account. You could do what I've done, which is convert it to Steam Power, which makes your votes have more leverage more say behind them. That's why when I like your comment, you get 6 or 7 cents, and it's in my interest to reinvest it in Steam Power. So you could put your money in Steam Power, so your votes have more say. And if you start blogging on your own, you'll want to do that because you'll see it's an avenue you could make money yourself. Or you can convert it to Steemits, which is their cryptocurrency, their Steem or Steemits, which are trading on blockchain for about anywhere between $2 to $7 because the cryptocurrencies fluctuate so much. And then that money that you generated from nothing, if you really want to, you could literally trade those Steemits for Bitcoin. And you could get Bitcoin. And me, myself, I do invest in that type of stuff. I think it's the way of the future. Could crash, but the beautiful thing about this is you don't have to actually put your US dollars in. You're just generating money from traffic. You're getting money by commenting, liking, and stuff like that. So I do hope you follow me on Steemit. If you don't want to comment under this, let's have an open discussion. If you want to join the blog, great. I'm trying to build a following on that because I do see it as a big opportunity. It's another big idea type of thing. And I do think I want to talk more and more about big ideas. So this is my first episode in a series I'm going to do whenever I have an idea. And the series is going to be titled, In a World Without Government. All right, thanks guys. I am Tom Anderson on Gab. I am Tom Anderson on Steemit, as I explained already. And I will put the link to that in the reference notes below, the link to all my social media. I'm Tom FFRnews on Twitter, Tom Anderson on Facebook. FFR News on Facebook. I don't post as much on that as I used to because Facebook they completely shut down any of my reach. So it's really not worth the energy. I am TomFFRnews on Minds. And if you would like to support me financially, there's now 2 ways to do that. Like I said, you could follow me on Steam it, and simply by liking my post, I get access to more viewers who aren't familiar with my work. And you're giving me a penny, but not out of your bank account, it just generates from cryptocurrencies, kind of like mining for Bitcoin, I guess. That's my understanding of it. It's a different type of mining because you're drawing traffic to their site. Or you can support me on Patreon at www.patreon.com/FFRnews. For as little as $1 monthly, you can make all the difference in the world for me. Thank you so much. I do believe I could change the world. I do believe we could change the world. And part of doing that is not just understanding history, not just understanding current events, all of which is very important. Make sure you do your historical reading. But also in talking about big ideas, how the world could operate outside of the cultural paradigm that we have known, outside of the cultural paradigm that anyone in human history have known. Because if you look at the Enlightenment thinkers, if you look at Thomas Paine, these ideas of natural law and individual rights and liberty, they created a world outside of the world anyone else had already known.